Hello, once again, I'm advocate sports columnist Scott Rabelais with LSU writer Brooks Cabina. We're here near the gates of LSU on a Tuesday to do our latest LSU CFP Championship preview video, sponsored by Hancock Whitney Bank. The Tigers are not practicing again today. They were going to practice on Wednesday before heading down to New Orleans on Friday. But the stories still come. Still coming out with content every day in the paper. And Brooks, you wrote a story about the challenge LSU can face from this Clemson defense on Monday night.
All right. Last year, it seemed a lot of the same kind of narrative. You had this big SEC power with a record-breaking offense that just smashed all these teams and came in and looked like they were going to rewrite the history books with another national championship. And then Clemson came in with one of the most surprising, shocking, lopsided championship wins in history. And now LSU's kind of doing the same thing. So, we took a close look at whether Clemson can be the defense that finally stops LSU. The big difference is Clemson no longer has the stud defensive line that they had last year. But Brent Venables is the most tenured defensive coordinator that LSU's faced this entire season. 8 years with the same team. That's more than anybody LSU's faced this year. Most of them were either in their first or second year. But Kevin Steele was the most since, and he's been with Auburn 4 years, and he's given LSU the most problems this year. He's the one that came up with the 3 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker, 7 defensive back scheme that limited LSU to 23 points. And is Clemson going to try and do that same thing? It's a copycat league. Georgia tried to do the same thing, but they didn't have the same defensive line, and neither does Clemson. The thing that Clemson does so well is confuse teams with multiple fronts. Lloyd Cushenberry, LSU's center, talked about it last Friday. He said they study for an hour and a half, and they just have so many different fronts that it's really remarkable how they get it done. And Clemson's going to be able to do that and confuse LSU is the goal. Making sure Joe Burrow and Steve Ensman and Joe Brady can't dissect a defense and figure out what's wrong with it and confuse a team. So Venables may be the toughest opponent yet for LSU to do, and it'll be certainly a big chess match throughout the game.
There's no question, and the counterpoint to that is this will be the best offense that Clemson has faced. And no one has truly stopped LSU this year. Yeah, they had the game against Auburn, but they only won 23-20. But LSU kind of hurt themselves in the red zone. They still have over 500 yards of offense in that game. They've had over 40 points against Alabama, over 40 points against Florida, 37 against Georgia. And we talk about Oklahoma's defense, of course, not even in the same league as Clemson's this year. But as Joe Burrow has said over the year, they see something different every week. So Clemson trying to confuse them with something that maybe they haven't seen is not going to be anything unusual. Their ability to react and counter what other people are trying to do that looks different has been a staple of this LSU offense.
And that's what makes this team so special, is that a lot of the times what they do just transcends scheme. Joe Burrow, what you want to do is get to him quickly, but even whenever teams get to him, he's still able to roll out of the pocket and make a play. And we've seen that twice, once against Georgia and once against Oklahoma in the SEC championship game and the semifinal, where it looks like the play's over, and he makes something out of thin air. It's those kinds of things where LSU's operating at a different level that we just haven't seen. So even if you come up with a scheme that works out really well, LSU's just found a way, just by the way they're operating, to get past that. So, yeah, I mean, Clemson's going to have a very big problem against LSU's offense just because it is functioning compared to Alabama at just the historical rate that some people just haven't seen.
It's certainly strength versus strength. LSU is the number 1 offense in the country. Clemson is the number 1 defense in the country. It's one of the most fascinating things about Monday's national championship game. We'll have video reports every week leading up to the championship game. Thanks for watching. Once again, our video report has been sponsored by Hancock Whitney Bank.